Hi everyone. Today I wanted to discuss a philosophical idea to do with humanity and its place in the animal kingdom, and how some religious people reject this conception. So I see a sort of irony in this because a lot of people vehemently reject evolution, which is a physical process, right? It involves physical organisms living in the physical world, adapting to the environment or changing through time. And in the scientific account, humanity is no different because we also ultimately came from other primates, and we've got an evolutionary history as well, right? So we were also adapting and changing in the physical world and the environments that we encountered. And so that's the scientific account. But a lot of religious people, they reject this idea. Um, but it's a little bit ironic to me because really the thing that you guys take as special ultimately is the human soul and the mind. Often those are sort of mixed together as the same thing, but sometimes not. But the soul and the mind are taken to be non-physical things which survive death somehow. Like when we die, we go to heaven or hell, depending on how we acted on earth and whether we accepted a certain God or not, etc. So that's sort of the important thing ultimately for religious people, is this non-physical or spiritual aspect. And yet many religious believers are very, very adamant that evolution cannot be real, right? So I think that's sort of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit. It's kind of unnecessary because there are a lot of theologians who do accept evolution, but they also think that the mind or the soul is something special that could not have evolved, and that was imputed by God. There's also, of course, the design argument, which is really an outdated argument now because we basically know how biological complexity came about through evolutionary processes and feedback cycles, etc., etc. We understand emergent phenomena, those sorts of things, right, in pretty great detail. So the physical world is certainly very wondrous, and it seems to be designed, if you were to naively just think about it, like how can this order arise without a god or a designer? But we now have got a pretty good handle on that. But I mean, you can still accept that physical account and still say that there is a soul. I mean, I don't personally believe that, but many people do, and you can still hold that belief, and it can still be, consistent with the idea that physical evolution happens. So I think that a lot of religious people, they sort of go too far in hanging on to also the physical realm, as it were. They can't just let that be. Or, to add another irony to this, some religious believers, they say that the universe was set up in such a way that evolution would happen and lead to intelligent life like us, okay? Maybe even specifically human beings. But, to just reject all of that and say that also evolution cannot be true, I think that is very unnecessary. So that's just something to think about.